Hi, my name is Simon Sanborn, and welcome back to the Count to 10 podcast. I took a break last week to go on Thanksgiving with my family, so I hope you enjoyed your time having a break from work and all those things that we have to do day in and day out. So it's nice to have kind of a long, extended break once in a while to kind of remind us of things that we're thankful for. So I really like Thanksgiving. It's one of my favorite times of the year. So today I thought I would just talk about what I had been kind of working on with my students in my behavior focused program. This week we focused a lot on dependability and what it means to be dependable for others, to be somebody to rely on you, somebody that you go to for help, somebody that you can count on. So I often think it's important for anybody, especially my students, to begin to remind themselves of the people in their lives that they look to for support. And this isn't just support of like, I'm going to help you with your math, or I'm going to help you with your writing or something like that. This is like, I'm going to help you with how to feel better and be able to be around other people and do it in an appropriate way so that you get the benefits of being part of the society. Big ideas, and I don't really express it like that to students, but for adults, that's kind of the way I kind of think about it. And for my students, it's more of the idea of every day I have somebody waiting for me to help me make sure I travel through this school and these classes and this space in the best way possible. I often talk about behaviors with my students. They get explosive and they get upset, and it's a very stressful thing. And we often forget sometimes that students who are having those emotional, upheavals, so to speak, it's really hard on them. We tend to take it as like, oh, somebody's behaving a certain way, and I'm reacting to that behavior. So the idea of understanding that those explosions are things we're trying to minimize, and we're here to help you minimize those so that you are less stressed, you are more successful. And that's the reason why we're here. That's the focus of this program, is how can we make you a part of society and be able to get along with people and have relationships and communicate in a way that others can accept. And behaviors are kind of hard to accept sometimes, especially when they're angry or they're mean or they're loud. So the better way we can communicate, which is kind of what this podcast is about, communication. So this piece about, going back to what I started with, is about who we depend on. So I often list out the people that I depend on every day, inside and outside of work. I often talk with them, give them real world examples, tell them how I struggle with things, tell them what things that I need help with, people that I'm dependent on as an adult, so that they can see that, oh, I can depend on these people, I can trust them, that relationship builds, and they can move past that to, oh, I can find a way through my day easier. I now can understand my feelings better. I understand who's here to help me. I can stay on track. So getting them to make that connection was big. And then towards the end of this week, we talked about problem solving. And so we talked about this dependability, people we get help from, things like that. It was a pretty long, drawn out kind of 3 or 4 days. But we finished up with getting to the point where we can problem solve with people. So if we figure out we're dependent on people, we begin to understand we're dependent on people all throughout our day, recognizing that, honoring that, right? Giving gratitude and understanding what that means. I mean, somebody's helping me every single moment of the day sometimes to make sure I get through these tough times. Man, am I grateful for them. So having that feeling of gratitude is really important, I think, to make those connections. And then being able to problem solve. If I'm looking at the team around me, we're trying to solve a problem, a complex problem, a business problem, a relationship problem. Any of those things, I need to have all these people on the same page with me. I've got to be able to get along with them. I've got to think of them as fellow human beings that I appreciate. Anything I can do to make sure that my mindset is one of compassion and one of understanding and problem solving. So a lot of those pieces involved in there. I obviously didn't word it and phrase it like I'm doing it for you, but it can really be beneficial to start making these connections with feelings. It can really be special. I love it when I add all these extra words. It is important to connect these feelings to our behaviors and gain understanding so that when we are getting upset, we are getting escalated, I can start thinking, wow, everybody else in my classroom, everybody else in my office is working quietly and trying to get their job done. If I have this huge blow up, it's going to disrupt everybody's learning, everybody's day. I don't want to do that. they're part of my community. I have connections with some of them, so I don't want them to think of me that way, see me that way, whatever it is. But making those connections so that we can really kind of dig in and develop this way of thinking. So we just try to be very intentional with it. My incredible associates very often use the same kind of language I do because it's intent. It's on purpose, right? We talk about we're here for your success. We're here because we care about you. We love you and we care about you. So that's why we're here. It's the only reason we have a job. Things like that. So it's nice to see kind of those things happen and see some of these bigger ideas come into place. That doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. It doesn't mean that in my time with them as a teacher or in my time with somebody as a friend in a relationship, I may not see the fruits of that until down the road. So I have to be aware that instant gratification is not part of this game ever. It's just not part of it. You have to get past the idea that you're going to see drastic changes, and because behaviors take a long time to change. But I'll tell you what, when they do, as I mentioned in one of my last podcasts, when you have a student who really struggles with their behaviors and their reactions to things, and they start shifting their thinking to the point where you are just so caught off guard by how well they're doing, and it's very fulfilling, and it's really wonderful to watch happen. And it makes you feel like, wow, I did something for my society, my community. So that's all it was today. I hope you, again, had a great Thanksgiving. I appreciate you getting back to me. So again, my email is Simon, SYMON, Sanborn, SANBORN, @gmail. If you have any questions, concerns, ideas, points of view, please email me those. Like I said before, I don't really follow comments, and I probably won't follow any of the comments on this channel. So direct communication, that's what I'm going for, and answering questions and solving problems and giving people help. That's my goal. So, opinions, things like that, I'm glad you have it. All right, have a good rest of the day. Thanks so much.